If you've dug into videos, lessons, and books about learning to play over chord changes, you've probably been quickly overwhelmed at how complex things can get almost immediately. And I'm here to tell you that playing changes actually doesn't have to be so overwhelming. In my experience, it's often better to look into simpler approaches to playing changes. Small changes that actually sound good rather than chasing chords around the fretboard. In this lesson, I'll help break things down into the absolute most digestible chunks that you can take and turn into music almost immediately. But why listen to me? Well, my name is Daniel Serif and I'm a professional guitar coach. I've taught over 25,000 one-to-one guitar lessons since 2007. I pride myself in taking complex music knowledge and boiling it down to essentials that you can instantly apply to your music. Let's go ahead and jump in. Today we'll be using the classic 12-bar blues progression, but not using the standard dominant form. I'd like to talk about the minor 12-bar blues. This is a very common form. You'll recognize it as the same chord changes as the classic B.B. King hit, The Thrill Is Gone. But most importantly, the skills and approach that we will learn today are applicable to any song that you want to play the changes on. Let's first quickly review the 12-bar minor blues form. B.B. played this song in several keys over his career, but let's do it in the key of C minor today. The minor blues form in C minor has 4 basic chords: C minor 7, F minor 7, A flat dominant 7, and G dominant 7. Now we can make the chords fancier with all extensions and all that kinds of nice stuff, but that's not the point of this video. In the 12-bar form, we have 4 bars of C minor, bar 3, then we go to F minor for 2 bars, back to 2 bars of C minor 7, and then the classic turnaround of A flat 7 for a bar, G 7 for a bar, and then we're back to C minor 7. And sometimes BB and others will put another quick turnaround in the 12th bar, so watch out for that one. We don't need to talk about that today though. I'm gonna keep this lesson mainly pentatonic, but on purpose. And you're gonna be pretty blown away at how great you can sound with just a couple simple changes to the pentatonic scale. In order to play the changes a little better, we should chat about the notes in each chord as we go through them. The C minor 7 is made up of 4 notes: C, E flat, G, and B flat. That's the 1, the flat 3, the 5, and the flat 7. So actually playing the C minor pentatonic over the C minor 7 chord makes total sense. C minor pentatonic has all 4 notes of the C minor 7 chord plus the 11th, which is known as the 4. This 11 is super colorful and you can hit it as much as you want. So if you didn't know, I am such a huge fan of the diagonal pentatonic. That's what I was playing there, the C diagonal pentatonic scale in C minor. I'm gonna play 8-10 on the D string and then 8-10-12 on the G. A little side recommendation for you when working on improvisation. You should absolutely, without a doubt, make backing tracks and learn how to play on each chord individually. Luckily for you, I've made my backing tracks available for this video as a free download below. You can go ahead and click that link and download them. Each important part of the progression is broken down so you can work on them individually. Go ahead and download those in the link in the description. So let's go ahead and look at the next chord, F minor 7. It's the 4 chord. So this chord contains F, A flat, C, and E flat. Again, it's a minor 7th chord, so that's going to be the 1, the flat 3, the 5, and the flat 7 in relation to F. Now, if you were paying attention, you might notice that there is a new note in this chord that wasn't present in the C minor pentatonic before. That note is A flat. It is the flatted third of the F minor. I'm here to tell you that if you just hit that note right when the F minor chord happens, you're going to sound like you know exactly what you're doing. And the best part of it is that if you're using the diagonal pentatonic, no matter where you are, the A flat note is just 1/2 step higher than the highest note of this 3-note set. Right here. You don't have to arpeggiate some crazy arpeggio or even play a whole new scale shape. Just simply add the A flat when the F minor chord comes along. Let me demonstrate. So C minor pentatonic using that diagonal. Wow, there's that F minor chord, and I'm gonna get off of it now. Now, isn't that interesting? It sounds like I really knew when it was coming, and I did pay attention. I have 4 bars of C minor happening, and I'm getting ready for it to try and make that change when it happens. But it sounded so good, it sounded like I really was playing the changes, and I just simply added 1 note. And the neat thing is that all the other notes from the C minor pentatonic are gonna sound great on the F minor chord as well. And let me share this with you. The coolest thing is that if you take this idea and apply it with the diagonal pentatonic, it will absolutely just copy and paste across the fretboard to different positions of the guitar neck. You can literally play it almost anywhere. And now for today's sponsor of this video. You've heard me mention it a couple times. The diagonal pentatonic was the biggest game changer in my guitar player. And I hear massive results from all of my students. I've helped over 2,500 guitar students in my guitar courses with this method. Get started playing confidently across the entire guitar neck with this simple system that instantly allows you to sound more musical while shrinking the complexity of the fretboard. You get over 108 exercises and over 80 licks, all with interactive tab. Grab your copy today using code CHANGESSECRET or click the link below and you can save 20%. Okay, so there are 2 chords left to approach with our simplified minor blues changes approach. Next up is our A flat 7 chord. That's an A flat dominant 7th. This chord is known as the flat 6 chord of this key and is the biggest distinguishing factor from a minor blues versus a dominant blues. The minor blues has this great flat 6 to 5 turnaround, while most dominant blues chord progressions go 5 down to 4. Dominant 7s are made up of 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. A flat is going to be A flat, C, E flat, and a G flat. There is one brand new note that we haven't dealt with yet in this lesson, and that note is G flat. It's the flat 7 of the A flat dominant chord. But I have really good news about that note. I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's this really fantastic note called the blue note. I'm sure you are familiar with it because it is exceptionally awesome. When using diagonal minor pentatonic like this, the blue note is always wedged between the higher 2 notes of the 3-note set. That's our 2-note set. Here's our 3-note set. The blue note lives right here. And conveniently for us, the blue note of this key happens to be that G flat note. So what we are going to do here is when we play over the A flat 7 chord, we are just going to sub this G flat note for the G note of the minor pentatonic. This G natural over that A flat chord would sound really bad, but the G flat note, right, is gonna sound perfect. Look at this simple little pattern that we've created. All of the other notes of the C minor pentatonic sound great over this, and it's with minimal changes. Let's hear it. All right, so now we got to deal with the 5 chord, the G7. I'm going to simplify the scale just a touch on this one, and for now we can get by with just 3 notes from the scale, and then I'm going to change just 1 note to fit this G7 chord. So in our C minor pentatonic, the B flat and the C of the C minor pentatonic are not really that strong, and they don't necessarily fit the G7 chord that well. So let's drop both of them. Just don't play them. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to play a B natural on the D string here at the 9th fret. B is the 3rd note of the G7 chord, and a powerful note called the leading tone in the key of C minor. It's the major 7th. And it's going to give us a great pull to resolve back to the C minor chord that happens and resolves in the next bar. So we'll just leave the same 3 notes on the G string. One's the root, one is the flat 7, and the outliner that is kind of funny is this E flat or D sharp note. It's technically the sharp 5 of this chord, but it gives us a little extra tension and pull back to that C minor. Let's hear this series of sounds on that turnaround. Back to C minor pentatonic at the end. It's gonna loop around. Bent to the G flat. Now you don't have to hit that B every time, but it's pretty nice. What if I take it up an octave? Now that you've learned a much simpler way to nail the chord changes in a minor blues, make sure to check out this lesson next in order to master the major pentatonic scale across the entire guitar neck with my simple 3/2 system.